What up? What up? What up? Merry Christmas, first of all. First and foremost, Merry Christmas. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. Let me just jump right on. I'm still not with this F the Streets campaign. I get it. In the grand scheme of things, you're trying to, you basically, throwing that idea out there, or the alternative out there that you don't need the streets. The streets don't make you, or you don't need the streets or whatever. We know the shenanigans, like I said before. We already know the shenanigans. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're not just fighting the shenanigans that's going to be there. You have to fight the resistance, being though people, a lot of kids and the youth get caught up in their adolescence, and physically and chemically, they're going through, as they go get past their adolescent years into their teenage years and adulthood, their bodies are going through so many different changes. You know, um, you have, like I said, adolescence. You're maturing. Uh, you're trying to figure it out. Um, there's peer pressure. You know, you want to be cool. You want to be with the cool kids or the in crowd, so to speak. So there's a lot going on. So we already know what the other side, the trappings of what the street deliver. You know what I'm saying? So we know that. My only issue is when you have these rappers whose career was based on malice and mayhem in their content. You know what I mean? Being they're rapping their lyrics and stuff like that, and it was all street activities or narratives around the streets. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're constructing a story or whatever. So you're still using the streets to profit and to capture that audience. But then when you get to a certain plateau, a certain heights in your career, and like I said previously, when you have certain affiliations who have done questionable things in regard to assisting law enforcement, now you don't run that energy is not, it's kind of not as aggressive as opposed if you didn't know someone. For instance, the energy against 6ix9ine, rightfully so, was nuclear level towards the bile that peeped the streets thought about him because he basically folded and told. Albeit his reasoning is that the streets went out the door once they started coming after my parents, my child, and my girlfriend and kidnapping and stuff like that. So now you have people like Gunna, who's obviously ratted, um, not once but a few times. You gave him a pass the first time he ratted on something, and then could you blame him for man, he's not whatever. But anyway, uh, 21 Savage is kind of leading this charge, and then you got a bunch of other rappers who are kind of supporting that charge of the After Street movement. Um, my thing is, once that happens, and once you go all the way there with the disassociation with the streets, as far as what's involved with all the trappings and the allure of the streets, um, I don't think you should ever mention any street gangster or whatever, any type of that content in your lyrics going forward. You know what I mean? You after streets now, you have to, I guess, figure out a way. Maybe you have to tap into another, you know, audience. I think because you basically turned your back on the streets. If you're saying F the streets, the people who support you, they might still show loyalty. They might be in full agreement with you. And I'm pretty sure you're getting great positive feedback on that, rightfully so. My only thing is, I don't have an issue with, if like I said, with all the shenanigans that goes on and all the murder and mayhem that goes on in the street. My only issue, you got good people in the street. You know what I'm saying? You got good people that are trying to figure it out, trying to make life decisions every day to be positive for them. Even though they have limited resources and stuff like that. So um, a lot of people are in a situation because of their financial situation. You know what I mean? And they got to navigate those same streets as everyone else. And they go to work every day. They're law-abiding citizens, and some of their kids and relatives that you go out and you socialize with or hang out with on the block. You know what I'm saying? So there's good people there. And I know I'm not attacking you on saying that, F everybody in the street. But I'm just saying, when you throw a statement out there like that, it's easily can get misinterpreted and people can twist it, and then they hijack the narrative that you might originally intended. Your original intent gets hijacked, and then you got a bunch of people like me and others that's will try to give constructive criticism, and I'm not attacking you. I'm just giving a overall commentary, I guess, based on what you said and F the streets and this, that, and the third. So, hey, man, you know, like I said, I'm off. I'm all for um, saving kids. You know, putting them, having a positive situation, positive mentors and influence going on in their lives. So saving kids and keeping them out of those type of underground activities, I'm all for that. But when you say F the streets and you've made money off street content and whatever you were doing in the streets, I just think that's it gives me pause to uh, completely embrace that part of it. But other than that, it's not personal. It's just an assessment, and I'm not attacking. This is just I'm trying to be respectful as possible, but I'm just giving you my thought process. Anyway, peace.